So I wanted to sit down today and have a conversation about search engine optimization, but whether or not it's actually important. And one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation is obviously, number one, it's a question that I get a lot. When I'm doing consulting with someone or someone signs up to my email list or whatnot, I always ask them to, tell me what their biggest concerns are or some of the things that they really want to get out of being part of my community. And one question that I get a lot is, where should I be putting my focus? I've seen some of your SEO videos, courses, or whatever it might be. Is that where I should be spending my time in my business? And I wanted to break that down in a video and truly have a conversation about that, because there are a lot of nuances to that question and to the answer to that question. And I wanted to hopefully help some of you to get a clearer understanding of the role that SEO plays and should play in your business. And it kind of depends on the stage of business that you are at, but also there are a couple of just fundamentals that I want you to be aware of. Now, obviously, with Google's introduction of AI overviews or search generative experience, a lot of people have been kind of questioning whether or not SEO is completely dying. And there are some people who question, whether or not that's important or not, because, is SEO even important anyway? Should we be focusing on ranking in Google, or should we be focusing our efforts elsewhere? And I still believe that SEO is really important. I do believe it's changing quite considerably, and I've put videos out on how it's changing, and I will be putting further videos out on, the continued changes and updates that Google are making and how it's going to impact businesses. But first and foremost, I always think that when you're creating a new website, you always want to think SEO first. And the reason why I think in that way is because especially if you're an e-commerce business, you're selling products on your website, or you have some sort of services on your website, you could start ranking in Google for your product pages and your services pages, which hopefully you're trying to do. Even if SEO isn't necessarily your primary marketing method, maybe you're creating your website so that you can start promoting using Facebook ads or Instagram ads or YouTube ads or whatever it might be. You might have a completely different strategy, but that doesn't mean that Google might not come across your website, discover your products and services, and start indexing them and sending you organic free traffic that you don't have to pay for. This is passive sales. We speak a lot of the time about the benefits of search engine optimization. And one of the benefits is, especially if one of your product or services pages are ranking in Google, then that could be providing passive traffic and passive sales for you on a consistent basis. Whereas if you're doing, other strategies like influencer marketing or, even email marketing, even though you own your email list, you still have to actively send out an email to get a sale. Whereas with SEO, you might be ranking in Google and, for years, that's just driving you passive traffic. And all you have to really do is moderate that traffic. Maybe you in your analytics, your Google Analytics or whatever analytics platform you use that to kind of see if you're dropping in traffic on any of your particular pages. And then, if you notice that there was a page that was getting a lot of traffic for you, but it's no longer, maybe you want to update that page. But other than that, it's one of the most passive ways of driving new visitors to your website and new sales to your website, essentially. So once you're ranking in Google for a keyword that's converting well, it could produce sales for you and traffic for you for years and years to come. I know that, with some of the products that I sell online, there are product pages that I have that have been ranking in Google for years and drive me passive income every single month from those products pages. And I guess going into some of the cons of search engine optimization is the fact that it can take a while for Google to crawl your new pages and to index those new pages. So it can take a little while for you to actually see SEO success. But once Google discover your pages and they start indexing them in the right places, then you could benefit from, quite a bit of traffic coming to your website from Google. So in my opinion, anyone who's starting off a website, if you're creating something from scratch, you should think SEO first. And when you're adding a new page to your website, you should think SEO first, because the last thing you want to do is get, 100, 200 web pages deep on your website. Now you've got 200 pages on your website, 200 product pages or blog articles or whatever it is, and you weren't thinking about SEO, you didn't care about SEO whatsoever. and then you watch one of my SEO videos on, how to optimize your website, and you have to go back over every single page and optimize each page individually, because each page, as I speak about, in many of my videos, every new page you add to your website is potentially a new opportunity for you to be found in the search engines. So you want to be thinking about things like, how am I going to title this particular page? Whether it's a product page, an article page, think about your title, because, what are people searching or going to search to potentially find that product or that service that you are putting up on your website? And, if you haven't thought SEO first, you're going to have to go back through all of your web pages and then, make them changes, which is just going to be a nightmare for you. So even if SEO isn't your strategy, I always recommend thinking SEO first whenever creating your website or publishing new pages. And SEO for me as a marketing consultant is a tricky one. And people often get confused with what I do. So I'm not necessarily someone who just specializes in SEO. I'm a marketing consultant. So I sit down with businesses and I analyze, their budget for their marketing. I analyze some of their goals for their marketing. So, I've worked with really big brands who don't necessarily have goals of making sales or generating leads, but their goals are more awareness. How do they get more awareness about what it is that they're doing? And that is very different from, someone who is a startup entrepreneur and they're just trying to get new sales to their Shopify store or, to their affiliate link or whatever it might be. And so it's really important for you to understand what your goals are, short-term and long-term, because SEO is definitely a long-term strategy. And it doesn't mean that, you can't have short-term wins in the search engine. So for example, if you find a keyword that is, a really low-hanging fruit and it gets a decent amount of traffic, maybe you've used some of the SEO tools I've spoken about on this YouTube channel, then you might find some low-hanging fruit keywords and start ranking in Google relatively quickly and driving you sales or whatnot. But usually 9 times out of 10, if you're trying to kind of generate sales in the short term, then SEO isn't the right strategy for that. What I often recommend is that you do, even YouTube, for example. YouTube is a type of search engine. So if you can answer people's questions in the form of YouTube videos, then you might start ranking in YouTube search. And it's a lot quicker to rank in YouTube search than it is to rank in Google. So, you might benefit from passive traffic that way. If you really don't have a budget, then Google SEO is not the only way of driving passive, search traffic to your website. Think about creating YouTube content, optimizing that YouTube content for, keywords that you want to rank for. And it's also to keep in mind that some YouTube videos actually rank higher than websites in Google search as well. So there might be a keyword that you really want to rank for in Google and it might take you a long time, but you create a YouTube video about that and you outrank some of your competitors because you were, able to create a video. And I think a really important thing to keep in mind is that a lot of companies either don't have the resources or don't value enough video marketing. So if you are someone who is just starting out and you have a product or you have a service and you do some research using, the Google Keyword Planner tool or answerthepublic.com. So those are essentially just free keyword research tools that you can use to find what keywords people in your niche are searching for. So you might use those platforms and find out that people in your target audience are searching for particular keywords that you can create YouTube videos about. Optimize those YouTube videos for SEO with your title, with your tags, with your description. And you might notice that your videos start ranking in YouTube, but also they start ranking in Google as well, driving traffic to your videos, your channel. And obviously, if you're leaving links to your products and your services in your description, then this can drive passive income for you and for your business as well. So my strategy usually when I'm consulting someone who, is trying to get their first few customers through the door, we would create their website and think SEO first, optimize their website for SEO, and then we would start running ads to their products or their services. So these can be ads on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, depending on where they feel their target audience is, where their target customer is. And oftentimes new entrepreneurs are scared for some reason to invest money in their marketing. I've consulted so many people who've literally spent thousands of pounds sometimes on creating a website, Sometimes they've already spent loads of money kind of in the preparation of, building their product or stocking their product. And, they spent money even sometimes on premises, and they're not willing to spend money on advertising, on, Google ads or Facebook ads. And to be honest with you, some of these advertisement platforms, you can actually put, like $1 a day, literally, as an advertisement budget and start driving traffic to your website. Now, $1 a day is probably not going to get you the sales that you desire. You probably need to start with at least $10 to $15 a day. But that being said, you want your products to be shown in front of as many people as possible. And the way that I see some of these platforms is kind of like hiring a stall in a really busy area. So there's so many people on Instagram, so many people on Facebook. And essentially, if you're paying for an advert, you're paying to be in front of as many of them as possible, and you want to catch their attention. I think sometimes the reason why a lot of people don't do well when promoting their website using ads is because they forget that it's not just numbers, it's not just clicks, it's not just impressions, but these are actual real people. So when you take a step back and imagine this advert wasn't going to be shown on Instagram or Facebook, imagine all of those, millions of people on Instagram and Facebook were at one event. Let's say, for example, it's an industry event for whatever it is that you do. And, you get the opportunity to show an advert to these people who are walking past you in this event. Like, what would your advert say? What would you potentially say? Would you be, how would you be marketing and promoting that? And then think about it like that. And then you're likely to do a lot better with your advertisement. And the reason why it's important to kind of get your first few clients in is because SEO can take a while. And not only that, but Google are constantly updating their algorithm. I spoke recently in a video about, their scaled content abuse. Now we have, platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, where you can essentially just create blog articles at will almost. And when those platforms first emerged, people were creating loads of content using these platforms, but the content is not very high quality. And the one thing we have to remember as well about using ChatGPT or Gemini or AI tools to write your content is, as we spoke about in some of my other videos, how these platforms work, even with Google AI overviews. What it does is it scrapes information that's already out there and turns it into an article for you. So it's not going to be original. And Google are going to know that this content, isn't that great. It's very low quality. So I'm going to be doing videos soon about how you can use ChatGPT and Gemini to help you to create quality content, content that's actually good. And obviously, you need to be using AI tools, as I've been speaking about in various videos. If you're not using AI tools within your marketing, you will simply get left behind now. Whether you're focusing on SEO, whether you're focusing on paid ads, whether you're focusing on email, it's really important for you to get a handle on AI. And I'm doing my absolute best to produce as many videos as possible on the topics so that you can kind of get an understanding of the kind of tools you should be thinking about using. I'm hoping to partner and collaborate with some AI platforms as well, so that they can come on and speak to us about how we can incorporate AI in our everyday marketing. So Google SEO can be extremely valuable once we put the time in to do the keyword research, optimize our pages for those keywords, and start thinking about things like authority in terms of gaining backlinks. And that's another thing as well about YouTube videos. So just by virtue of me being a content creator on YouTube, obviously I'm able to rank in YouTube search. I'm also able to rank in Google search. But when you start creating content, it kind of allows you to be an authority on the internet, and you get approached by brands, at different capacities. Some brands I've worked with, other brands I've just built really great relationships with, and you've seen some of them on this channel. And I've worked with some of them behind the scenes as well. And what this has meant is I've been able to do guest blog articles for some really big companies because I've built relationships with them via social media and video. And so, don't neglect how important video marketing is, YouTube marketing is, social media marketing is, not necessarily just to build an audience and get loads of views and subscribers, but it's actually a great relationship builder as well. I've built so many great relationships just from being on YouTube and being on social media and actually being social and creating valuable content. So if you're creating YouTube videos as well, it's not only going to help you in the search engines, but it can help you to build really great relationships with people who do similar things to you, with other brands, and that might open up the door for, guest blogging opportunities. And whenever you blog on somebody else's website, you can actually get a backlink back to your site. So that's a thumbs up from, the search engines to say, hey, you're getting backlinks from really reputable websites and you're blogging for really reputable websites. That increases your website's authority in Google, and it makes it more likely for you to actually rank in Google when you're creating your blog articles, when you're creating your product pages and services pages and so on and so forth. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is SEO is a long-term strategy, and I kind of see SEO similar to LinkedIn in a way, because with LinkedIn, you're kind of building your profile, you're making connections, you're trying to establish your authority. And it's the same with Google. When you're creating your website, you want to tell Google what your website is all about, but you also want to look at the bigger picture and let Google know that your website is authoritative. So I often tell people, like, SEO is not that difficult when you really think about what Google is doing. Google are trying to create the best experience for us, the people who use Google, as possible. So when we go to Google, we want to find websites that load quickly, that don't give us issues in terms of navigation, and it's difficult to understand the text that's on that page. And we want to find web pages that are relevant to what we searched for, and we want to get information quick and easily after we've performed the search on Google. We don't want to spend hours searching through loads of different websites that might not give us the answers that we were looking for. So you want to create a website and web pages that make it easy for people to access the information they were searching for. And also the experience that people have on your website needs to be really great, high quality experience. And if you tick all of those boxes, you're likely to perform well in Google, and Google are likely to send you loads of traffic, and that can be really highly valuable passive traffic that you don't have to pay for, at least in money, back to your website. So Google traffic can be highly valuable, but it does take a little bit of time, and it does take some investment. And we also have to think about algorithm changes, and with AI overviews, Google are likely to be sending less traffic to some of our articles that they can just answer in a quick overview. But writing content for your website is still really important if you want to rank in Google Organic or in Google AI overviews. And again, I'm going to be speaking more about this and having more YouTube videos about this. I'm actually going to be doing a number of webinars as well for those of you who are on my email list. So if you're interested in staying up to date with everything SEO, AI, and marketing, then make sure you join the email list by downloading the formula. It's also the free guide to generating leads and sales for your business online. I know a lot of you already have downloaded it, but if you haven't, make sure you do, and that will put you on the email list as well, so you never miss when I'm doing whatever I'm doing behind the scenes. So I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. But I really do hope that this video brought you a little bit of value. Like, if you've been thinking about SEO and whether or not you should be focused on it, especially with AI overviews, then there are pros and cons. But my take on it is definitely focus on getting sales in the short term away from SEO, and kind of using SEO as a long-term strategy, because if and when it does work, it's going to drive a lot of passive income and traffic to your website. But at least in the short term, you need those sales. And then when you start getting those sales and you have money coming in, you might even be able to hire an SEO agency to help with that SEO side of things. So hopefully this video was helpful. Please click that like button down below if you did find it helpful, because it helps this video be shared out to more people. But until next time, guys, have a great day. Make sure you download the formula, please, and I'll see you soon.